Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Taz Talk. Today we're going to be talking about how I survived this year. Man, I've been through hell and back, and I don't know how I made it out, but I know who carried me through. Oh, now let me tell you about the story of the one who got me out. I'm going to tell you all the lessons I've learned, and I'm going to take you through the battles I've fought. Hopefully you may learn a thing or two, and most importantly, so that it can help you get over your own battles that you're going through in life, or the things that you may go through in the future. They're all lessons that can help us together. You see, humanity is like a link. One way or another, we're connected. We get to experience the same things. So I want to share this out there to the world, and hopefully it may help someone that is going through the same struggles or battles in life. This is so that you can trust in the process. That life isn't pointless, life isn't futile, life has a purpose, and every single thing that happens in it is for a reason. I'm going to show you how God's plan is revealed through us. Everything happens for a reason, and that's a fact that you have to understand. Everything works out for the best, eventually, if you let it. And we may not see that now, but He does. So have faith in Him. Trust. Believe when you've lost all faith and believe in yourself. Trust in that which sees everything. When your lifeline is gone and your boat is sinking, what other choice do you have? It's either to fall or to grab onto something greater than yourself. The choice is yours, but the faith is your suffering. Because no choice in life is ever free. And that's what I realized. It took time to do so, but eventually I got there. And that everything has a consequence. And decisions and our choices don't just come alone. They come with many things attached to them. And that's what we need to understand in order to make the right choices. Because the choices itself, as it presents itself in the very moment, may seem right or may seem good, but eventually can turn into something that is a tragedy. A good choice can eventually lead to bad situations. But how can you see that when you don't know the future? Well, trust in those that do. Trust in Him that creates it. And sometimes we can get caught up in planning our lives though. And it's always good to prepare. Prepare for everything. Set a plan. But problem is most people only have a plan A, B or C sometimes. But life is so vast. You really have to present yourself with a multitude of different things and adapt to the ever-changing scenarios and situations in your life. And no matter how much we plan and prepare for things, sometimes things just don't go the way they're supposed to. And that's okay. And that's what I want you to learn and accept. Because I came into this year, 2023, with so much plans. Plans to prosper, plans to build. But I was completely taken out of it, wiped away, and swooped up by the flood of things and an avalanche of troubles and trials that came my way, and it changed me completely. And that was not my plan. Whose plan was that? No other than God's. That was God's plan. And I didn't really understand what "thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." I didn't understand the phrase. I thought that was more of a loveless and apathetic phrase, that it says that no matter what you think, it's disregarded and you're just thrown away. Whatever feelings you may have or opinions you may have, it's not considered. But the reality is that that phrase actually is beautiful, because "thy will be done" means what is good will be done. And I didn't really understand that until I went through it, because most of us don't really know what's good for us. Now, that's hard for me to admit because I'm a stubborn individual. I'd like to think of myself as someone of a thinker, someone who assesses things adequately, and one that makes the right decisions most of the time. I pride myself in that. But it's just impossible for humans in general to make the right decisions all the time when they're not presented with the future. None of us can see the future, not one. We may have visions, ambitions, and things we'd like to see in it, but none can definitively establish a vision for the future. And that's when I learned what God's will is. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. That means the good will always rise on earth and in heaven, because God knows everything. How does He know so? He created the path of every person's life before they were even born. When they were created, every single corner, bumps and turns has already been paved and created by God before you was even born, before you even had consciousness. It was already established. You see, before you even take your first step, God already sees where that road ends. And life becomes beautiful when you have a guide which sets you in the right path, which knows where they're going. It's beautiful because you have a light that never dies, never ends, and is always in the right path. I know it's very difficult to trust in the things you can't see, but trust in him. He knows you. He cares for you. He knows you before you was even created. He knows who you are, what you're made of, what you like and what you don't like, what you can take and what you can't. He knows that. You may not even know that. You may not even know that yet, but he does. He knows what's good for you and what's bad for you. So he won't ever put you through something you can't take or handle. Because he's not trying to break you. He's trying to raise you. And in order to rise, you're going to have to experience some pain. That's what growth is. Growing pains. And with growing, unfortunately, you're just going to have to leave a few things behind. But it's all part of the process, though. Just trust in him. Trust in the process. He'll never steer you wrong. He'll always set you right. And if you don't let him take the wheel, so to speak, well, you're going to be lost. Do you know why? Because life is a constant and ever-changing scenery. It's a wave that flows in every direction. And you just don't know where it's going to go next. Because the only thing constant in life is change. So you must grow with it. You must go with the flow. And if you plan your life yourself, you're going to keep on going in the wrong directions. You're only going off the basis of assumptions. You assume that your future is going to go here. You think that this is what's going to happen. But oftentimes, that's not what happens. And that's why you find yourself completely discombobulated and in disarray because you're lost now. Or I had planned this for my life, or by this age I already should be this. But when life doesn't give you what you wanted and it hands you tests and trials and you just there left stuck scratching your head like, oh, what do I do now? That's when you have to adapt. That's when you have to trust in something greater than yourself. And you must have some sort of humility to acknowledge this. Take your ego and pride out of yourself and start to love yourself. Start to care for yourself, because there are things out there that is better for you than sometimes you are for yourself, because you can be detrimental and harmful to your progress and growth. And most oftentimes, the only thing pulling you back is yourself. It's you. You keep on putting the blame on others, but in reality, it is you who is stunting your growth.